Hello, Midopapa. Today I bring you this delicious, tasty chicken stew, which I call my grandma's chicken stew, because she used to make it for us every time we went to visit her in the garden city of Ghana, which is Kumasi. I always looked forward to it during the holidays. The first thing she cooked for us was this lovely chicken stew. The only thing I hated about this whole stew was the fact that one of her chickens will be the sacrificial chicken. That was the only sad thing. But hey, once you start digging into this stew, you forget about that poor chicken. So I'm going to show you how I made it. To start off, I seasoned my Ifiakoko, which is the one she always used, which is also called the road runner or the hard chicken. And for the seasoning of the chicken, I used some onions, some garlic, some fresh thyme, some fresh rosemary, and fresh sage, some ginger, and salt. First of all, to start off, I had to clean the chicken. I always do this to remove that poultry smell. I really don't like it. So it is an option, but I recommend that you do it. I use lemon juice here to clean the chicken, but you can equally use vinegar to wash it. So basically, I squeeze the fresh lemon juice over the chicken, and then I proceed to rub the chicken with the lemon, and it helps remove that poultry smell. And then I take off these excess feathers that are always left on the chicken. It's just not nice to see it when you're eating your lovely chicken stew. So I remove all those extras and wash it and rinse it in cold water finally, and I'm done. So I proceeded to prepare the seasoning for the chicken, and for that I am using one small onion, some garlic which I had frozen. It was already peeled and frozen, so it made my life really easy. Aha, mamas love easy. easy things. Yes. So yes, the frozen garlic and my onion, plus some thyme, some rosemary, some sage, and some minced ginger. I mean, in these times that there's no ginger about, I bought this already made ginger. And to clean my herbs, these herbs were from straight from my garden. So I wash it in some cold water with vinegar. This is to ensure that there's no dirt or germs on the herbs. So everything went into my pot, and I also added in some After Village Kitchen's 10 spice blend for the extra spices, because it's got the nkitty, the white pepper, the cloves, the wentia, so it makes it really nice. And some ginger. If you've got fresh ginger, by all means use that. To blend it all up, I added in some water, and this water is just about enough to cook the chicken at the beginning. What you don't want to dilute your spice mix at this moment in time, because you want your seasoning to actually penetrate into the chicken really well. So just enough water to blend at this stage and to start off the cooking of the chicken. So yes, like always, I always rinse out my blender with a bit more water, because no wastage here. No, I'm not losing any spices. So this was done, and I covered it up and let it season for some couple of hours before I actually cooked it. The next thing I went on to do was to simmer my tomatoes. This is a step that brought back so many memories. This is what my grandma used to do. When I was little, I used to think, why does she have this pot here simmering some tomatoes before we cook the stew? I was just thinking about too many pots to wash. But this is the secret to having your stew cook quickly and to develop rich flavor plus a rich color to red color to your stew. So yes, I've been using this method ever since. And you know what, as I was doing this method, coincidentally my kids were playing in the garden, and it just brought back memories of when we were back in the compound house of my grandpa's house, and the kids during cooking time, dinner time, all the kids will just gather. They'll be playing whilst helping their parents to cook. So it was just such a good day and a good memory for me when I was cooking this grandma's chicken stew. I hope you will love it as well, and it will give you and your family so many memories. So I went on to start cooking my chicken, which had seasoned for about some good couple of hours, and you basically put it straight onto the hob. Because it's got a bit of water, it's enough to start off cooking the chicken. So all it needs to do is to sit beautifully on your pot and let the heat do its thing. And as you can see, the tomatoes is uncovered. I also added in a bay leaf whilst it was simmering, and you don't need to do anything to that tomato pot. Just let it simmer uncovered. Do not touch it. So now that these two are going on nicely, I proceeded to get the onion mix for my stew. For the onion blend, I used some bay leaves, 2 bay leaves, and garlic, more rosemary, more sage, more thyme, and 2 small onions, plus some ginger to blend all of this together. What I forgot was my pepper, but I added in at a later stage. So do add in your pepper at this stage. The full recipe for this grandma stew is in my 101 Ghanaian recipe book. It's an ebook available on After Village Kitchen's website, www.aftradvillagekitchen.com. Sorry, unfortunately, I cannot put these measurements on here for you because it will not be fair to those who have bought my ebook. So, yes, I'll encourage you to buy the ebook, which has 30 recipes in there, and it is really reasonably priced. So, yes, do go to the website and get yourself a copy. But it is so easy and straightforward to make this recipe. So to blend this time, I added oil because I want the cooking process to go on quickly. Using water will just lengthen the cooking time. So at this point, I checked on my simmered tomatoes and it was just ready. And when it's ready, I cover it with my cover and let the steam soften the sides that had dried up. And it's so easy to scoop out your simmered tomatoes. I also checked on my chicken, which was nice and tender at this stage. I did add in some more water to help it tenderize beautifully. So yes, hard chicken is really hard, so you need to add a bit more water. So I went ahead to heat up my oil and fry the chicken. What I wanted was a lightly fried chicken. I wasn't going for a deep fried chicken because I just needed some brownness on the chicken, and I was going to cook the chicken in the stew. I was not going to take it out. Doing this helps the chicken to develop more flavor, especially when you didn't have enough time to let the chicken season for some good couple of hours or overnight. So I like to do this, and as you add more seasonings to it, the chicken soaks up all that flavor, and it was so good. At this stage, it was smelling so good. So I added in some bay leaves, which fresh bay leaves from my garden. It was really handy. You can use dried bay leaves, and then I added in the blended mixture. Remember I said I had forgotten my pepper, so at this point I just thought, something is missing, and I added in the pepper and re-blended with the onion mixture and added it back in. Oh, you should have smelled this. This was so good. The house was smelling good, and oh, it was so good. So now that I added in some curry powder, and this added to the aroma of the house. So some curry powder and some 10 spice blend. After Village Kitchen's 10 spice blend, added more kitty, pepper, which is cloves, rosemary, more of that. So more spices went into this stew, so you can imagine the flavors. So it didn't take long for the onion mixture to fry because I didn't use water in it. So about 5 minutes time, I was adding in my simmered tomatoes. This is how quick your stew can cook. Once all the simmered tomatoes went in, I made sure the stew was mixed properly so that everything just marries together and become one stew. So basically, stir, stir, stir. This is where the stirrers enjoy, and it's quite therapeutic when you just stir and you see everything coming together. The results of your cooking is coming together. So once it was well stirred and combined, I added in some of the chicken stock that I had. I just needed a little bit to loosen up the stew. At this point, the consistency is dependent on your preference. So I just wanted it a little bit light, not too thick and yet not too runny. So I added enough stock and stirred. And at this point, it was just letting the heat do its job. I covered it and let it simmer on a low heat and let the spices and the flavors develop. This was for about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and I would say if you've got time, give it an hour. If you've got time, cook it the night before you eat this, okay? And let all the flavors simmer and marry nicely. So I always wait till my stew is almost ready before I check the seasoning, and I top it up with extra salt if needed. So that is what I just did a moment ago. And once I added in the salt, I had to let it marry again. So give it some more 5 to 10 minutes and it is done. Here was my stew ready to be served with my rice. I made some palm kernel oil rice. Oh, this rice is just so awesome. It's flavorful. Check my video on how I did that. It's so easy to make as well. And look how beautiful the stew is. And it's not just beautiful, it is tasty. Tasty to the bone. And we serve this with some salad, plain salad from the market, mixed up with a bit of cucumbers and carrots and grapes and spring onions, and that's how easy it is to put a salad together, right? So yes, we enjoy this grandma's chicken stew with our palm kernel rice and some salad on the side, and it was to die for. So I hope you will try this for your family. And as always, I'd love to have your feedback when you try it out. And be appreciative of whatever current situation you find yourself in. Make the most of it and enjoy yourself whilst at it. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you will give your families this treat. Until the next video, see you. And know you can see how my kids were so ready to eat. The smell just called them to the table. I didn't even say, "Come, boys, food is ready." That's how it is. Grandma stew.